Hey everybody, Bill 1911 here. Hey, today we're going to take a look at something that's, I think, kind of cool. I had this gun for quite some time and I decided I wanted to have it really dolled up and look really pretty, and as you can see, that was very successful. It ended up just coming out absolutely gorgeous. Well, one of the things I wanted to have done was that I wanted to have my company logo engraved on the side of the slide here, which I did, and it came out really good. But you really can't see it, okay? If you notice, where the parts that are gold really pop. So I want to color fill the engraving, okay, with gold. Now there is a kit that is available, okay, which I'm going to show you, all right? It's called Bonanza Gold. Now, what this does is gives you a durable color fill that goes into those engraving lines, and it doesn't come out easily. You see people using enamel paint, okay? Now, if you're doing something on an AR or something that's parkerized like that, well, it may be your best bet to use an enamel paint. The only problem with enamel paint is that gun oil removes enamel paint, which means that that beautiful color that you get into that inlay isn't terribly durable. It tends to come off. So what we're going to do is we're going to use this little kit right here, which I've been using this stuff for years, and it works extremely well, and it's very durable. Nothing is going to last forever, but this stuff, it's about as good as you're going to get. So the first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and clear the gun. Make sure there's no ammunition in it. So we pull out the magazine, all right, and we pull the slide back, and we look in physically into the chamber, and we make sure that the gun is empty. All right. Okay, we're back. We got all our lights working again, and as you can see, there's a lot more light on the subject now than there was before. So like I said, we're going to take a look into the chamber, and we're going to see that there is no ammunition in this gun. So we also make sure that there is no ammunition in the work area. So the next thing we're going to do is disassemble the gun so that we can get to all the places that we want to put the color fill in without causing problems to the gun somewhere else. Okay. Now I want to caution you about this gold filler, okay? This stuff cannot be used on parkerized finishes, okay? The reason why is that that parkerized finish on its surface is a little bit porous. So when you go to clean this up, what you end up with is, instead of a nice gold in the engraving, what you end up with is a big smudge of gold. So you don't want to use this on anything that's parkerized. It's not going to give you a good result. But on a hard blued finish like this, it will. Okay, the next thing we want to talk about is make sure you wear gloves with this stuff. It is toxic, okay? It has two things in it, two chemicals, that prolonged exposure to it has been known to be a carcinogenic. It doesn't mean touching it's going to definitely give you cancer. It doesn't mean that. But you don't want to be exposed to this long term, so make sure you wear some gloves that are going to protect you from the chemicals. All right, so with that, let's get started. All right, so first, we're going to take a little tension off that spring, okay? Now we're going to push a button. We're going to rotate the bushing. Pull the follower out, okay? And the whole spring, going to take the whole thing right out, all right? We're going to run the bushing back the other way and remove it, okay? And now we're going to move the slide back into position so that we can push the slide stop right out through the side. From there, the slide will simply come right off the end of the gun, all right? So we take this apart. We're going to fold our link forward and slide the barrel right out the front end. Okay, now that's got it disassembled to where we can get to what we want to do. Now there are two sides that I wanted to do. Over here, on this side of the gun, we have the manufacturer, Essex Arms, okay. Well, I wanted to go ahead and put that in gold, but I don't really want my serial number to be in gold. So what we're going to do is we're going to get a piece of masking tape and we're going to mask that off so it doesn't get any of the gold in there. Because once this stuff's in there and it's sealed, it's going to stay in there. So that's one of the things we need to do. One of the other things we need to do is degrease this, okay, because there is oil on it, of course. So we're going to first just give it a general cleaning with some alcohol, okay, and that's going to get all the oil off the surface and out of the cracks. Okay, from there, in this kit, there is a cleaner degreaser, and that's in this bottle, which I don't have a lot of it left. This cleaner degreaser also, after you've done all this, you put in the inlay and you clean it up with this stuff, it also chemically bonds with the adhesive that's in this bottle and seals it so it doesn't come out easily. All right. Now in this little tube we have little gold flakes. Now this is a very, very fine powder and it should give you a nice gold color. So that's what we're going to do next. Okay, so the next thing I kind of wanted to touch base with you about was the material that you use to do your cleaning. You don't want to scratch this finish. I mean, this is a gorgeous sheen on this finish. It's really beautiful. So what we're going to do is we're going to use gun cleaning patches because they're nice soft flannel and they're not going to scratch the finish of what we have here. So we're going to start with taking a little alcohol and wetting our patch and just starting up some cleaning. Now this is not a final cleaning. This is just to get some of the outside stuff off. Okay, now this is very, very important. When you're dealing with different chemicals, okay, you don't know exactly how they're going to react with each other. These two right here are designed to react with each other in a positive way. However, we're throwing something else into the mix here. We're throwing alcohol into this. So we want to make certain that this is completely dry before we start doing anything with the other chemicals. All right? So give it a good long moment, pardon me, give it a good long moment to evaporate completely. All right? So that's what we're going to do. Now, what I'm going to do next is going to require those gloves that we were talking about earlier to make sure that I don't get into any of this other stuff. Okay, now we're going to let that alcohol dry up real good. Now you're going to want to give it some extra time because what you can see on the alcohol on the outside of it is one thing, but remember these crevices, it's going to tend to pool a little bit and be a little deeper in there, so it's going to require a little extra time. So we're going to let that dry up for a little bit and we'll be back in just a minute. Okay, so we've given this about 15 minutes to dry up to make sure that there's no alcohol present. And now we're going to go ahead and use this cleaner degreaser that came with this kit. Okay, now it doesn't take a lot of this product to do a really good job. Alright, so now this stuff is not the best smelling stuff in the world. You want to do this in a well-ventilated area wherever it is feasibly possible to do so. Today, it's raining outside and there's so much humidity in the air that I really can't do it outside. I would prefer to. But this is what we have to work with, so this is what we're doing. Alright, so that's got our cleaner degreaser in there. And just as we did before, we're going to allow this some evaporation time. Now I'm seeing something right down here on the bottom that is going away. Alright, so that's good. That's going away. That's what we wanted. It's just not completely dry yet, so we're going to have to let this set again for a little bit to make sure that it's good and dry. There we go. That looks much better. Now, the cleaner degreaser picked up a little bit of the tape here and seemed to have melted it a little bit and spread it onto the gun. So we had to go back and clean that up a second time a little bit. All right, so the next thing that we needed to do was over here on this little piece of white paper, we have the gold powder that we have put onto the paper. Now from there, we're going to get a separate patch, okay? And we're going to use the adhesive. All right, so we look pretty dry, we look good, all right? So from here, we get this adhesive and we moisten this patch with this second compound, this adhesive. Now from here, always put the caps back on these things because you do not want this stuff to spill. All right, from here, okay, we're going to just kind of dab it into that powder and get it onto here. So from there, we're going to start working it in to all these little nooks and crannies. Now, you're going to be better using a circular motion. It's going to fill in a lot better that way, okay? And if you have to put in more, put in more. Don't get shook up about it, okay? Believe me when I tell you that little tube has a lot more material in it than you might think it does. There's quite a bit in there, actually. Now, I think I'm going to need a little bit more adhesive here. This is not exactly sticking how we want it to. So we'll get a little bit more of it on. And we'll see if I need any more powder. I might. There we go, that looks better. Okay. Now we get that worked into those cracks really good. So everything is filled. All right, so once that's done, okay, now we're going to take our cleaner degreaser again. And they tell you can use the same patch over again, but I think I'm going to use a different patch. Now, go over the top of this, and you'll start to see that it comes off of everywhere on the outside, but it is staying into all of the engraving in there. Now, the other thing is that this stuff seals it, the cleaner, so that it doesn't come out of those little nooks and crannies and cracks. Okay, so what we're going to end up with is a very nice little product here. And I will show you how pretty that looks when it's done. There's one other area that I need to get cleaned out. And it's kind of giving me a hard time. But I assure you I will get it out. I have to have something here that I can do this with. Okay, right here. Now, we got a little bit of excess down in here that we don't want there. So we're going to get that cleaned out, okay? Now, this cleaner is very useful for getting any overages out that are in places where you don't want that material. So we're going to keep doing our thing until we're nice and clean. after we're nice and clean, I think you're going to be impressed with the outcome of how this looks. Now, let me show you this in close-up. Okay, what do you think about that? Looks pretty good, don't it? Not too bad. All right, so that was all there was to color filling this, and we're all set. All right. Okay, there was one other thing that I neglected to say that I think is kind of important, and that is any of the excess gold dust, don't try to put it back in the tube, because what happens is any adhesive that's on there will start gluing this together and it will clump up, and then you won't be able to use it on the next time you do a gun. So I guess that's it for today. We'll see you next time. I'm Bill 1911. Just one more little after shot to show you how nice that looks when it's done. Okay, and when you look at what we did on the other side, Essex arms. Alright, so there you have it. And that's how we color fill with gold on a pistol. Now, again, you can use enamel paint. The problem with the enamel paint is its durability. This stuff, when you get gun oil on it, it doesn't affect it. It doesn't cause any problem at all. So, there you have it. Hey, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. I'm Bill 1911. Hey everybody, Bill 1911 here. Hey listen, if you're watching this video, if you're enjoying it, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, okay? That's really important to us. And make sure you like us, and by all means, come to visit us at askbill1911.com.